What's up guys, my name is Ace, and a couple days ago, Treyarch actually released 10 things that they've changed with Black Ops 3 since the beta. So I'm going to be sharing what those 10 things are, as well as my thoughts on these different changes. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so I was really pleasantly surprised the first time I read this article, because they covered pretty much every topic that I was concerned about with the Black Ops 3 beta. Basically everything I mentioned in all the videos I made, where I was saying that I don't like this or I feel this needs to be tweaked, they've tweaked pretty much everything that I listed, which I love. So the first one we have here is the Black Hat. So the Black Hat has been nerfed a little bit, and I'll just read through this really quick. Our new hacking mechanic scales the hacking speed on how close you are to the target and will require more precise aim to hack score streaks in a reasonable time. The time to hack has also been adjusted upwards across the board to make it more challenging to hack, especially at the higher end of rewards. Hackers now also appear as a red dot on the minimap for the duration of the hack, which, along with the voiceover notifications that a score streak is being hacked, provides players the ability to counter by hunting down the attacker. I'll be honest, I would really have preferred if they had just completely removed the ability to hack score streaks, but I understand that Treyarch does want the Black Hat to be something that's powerful rather than kind of a gimmicky thing that isn't really used too much. So I can appreciate the compromise here. It's nice that they've at least recognized that these things were way too powerful and way too annoying, because hacking streaks rewards players that are doing poorly and it punishes the players that are doing really well to earn the streaks. So honestly, I completely disagree with the hacking mechanic, but it is nice to see that they have made some changes, and some pretty significant changes it seems like. And I guess we'll just have to see how this plays out with the changes that they've made. I really hope it's as difficult as they make it sound with this paragraph. I hope it's something that not anybody can just pick up and do on a very consistent basis without being countered. And I hope for the super high score streaks that it takes like 20 to 30 seconds, maybe even more, to hack it. That might sound a little extreme, but if I just spent like 5 minutes of gameplay time earning a mothership, I better get at least like 30 seconds of mothership time before someone else steals it from me, if there is going to be a mechanic that allows people to steal it from me. So the next change is Rejack, and there we go. That covered my two biggest concerns with the game from the beta, Black Hat and Rejack. We're already on to both of them, so this is awesome. But the big change they're making to Rejack here is when you kill a guy that rejacks, you get that kill rewarded to you on the scoreboard and everything. You get that immediately when you kill him, and it doesn't get taken away from you at all. Because as it was in the beta, if you got a kill and then someone rejacked, you didn't actually get that kill on the scoreboard, which is kind of frustrating, knowing that you earned a kill and then he just takes that kill away from you basically. So I really like that you're at least rewarded with a kill here. Also, this was actually changed during the beta, but they mentioned it again. Score streaks will reset when you rejack. So when you do rejack, you don't get to continue on your score streak, which I guess it's going to turn a lot of people away from using Rejack, which is a good thing in my opinion, because Rejack is really annoying. One thing that I'm a little disappointed with here is for the search and destroy guys. I'm not much of a search and destroy player myself, but the way they have this organized here, it doesn't really fix that issue that the search and destroy players have. Search and destroy is a one life game mode. You get one life. Now with Rejack, you suddenly get 2 lives every few rounds, assuming you're getting a couple kills and actually earning your Rejack. And to me, that's unacceptable for search and destroy, and it kind of breaks the game mode in a way. So I really hope that they'll eventually maybe ban Rejack from search and destroy or something along those lines, because I feel like it's just something that should not be in search and destroy at all. Moving on to the next thing on the list, this is something to do with Flinch. Now they didn't technically remove or reduce Flinch, but what they did here, I'll just read it out. Our improved networking code would sometimes cause bullet flinch to stack, so we put a cap on how much you can flinch while aiming down sight. While you still flinch when shot, it will be within tighter constraints to keep you closer to your aim. Now something I don't really understand here is how their improved networking code makes it so your bullet flinch is going to stack. So it almost sounds like they're saying their improved networking code makes it so that all of the enemy's damage is dealt at once to you, causing you to flinch more, which is something that I definitely am a little suspicious of, but I don't really know. I'm not really a networking engineer or anything, so I don't know how this works, but it is nice to see that they have done something to the flinch. I wasn't really too concerned about flinch in the first place, but I know a lot of people were upset with it, and I wouldn't have minded seeing it reduced a little bit, so it's nice they've kind of put that cap on it a little bit, even though they technically haven't reduced it overall. So next up we have an addition to the game, and that is a kill marker, which is really nice. So we've seen this in Ghost, at the end of Ghost life cycle anyways, they implemented this, and in Advanced Warfare, the hit marker changes color when you get a kill. So you're going to get a red hit marker when you get a kill, and I'll just put it on screen here because Vonhard posted this actually a long time ago. He tweeted this out, something they were playing around with. Of course, it might be a little bit different than what it is now. This is still when they were playing with it, so they might have changed it a little bit. And also it says this marker will subtly grow in size with each subsequent hit. So that's kind of cool as well. Every hit marker is going to grow in size until you get the kill, and when you do get the kill, it turns red. So this is something that I'm really excited about. I really like the killing hit marker idea. I loved it when it was first implemented in Ghosts, and I'm really happy it's returning. Moving on to the next change they made, this has to do with the grenade throwing distance. During the beta, any downward or backward player movement could make the grenade toss distances feel awkwardly short. This has been adjusted so the player velocity never negatively impacts grenade trajectory. We also tweaked grenade speed and distances. So this is something that I wasn't really too concerned about. I had no problems with the grenade throwing distances. I know it was a lot shorter than we're used to with Advanced Warfare and stuff, but I feel like it was balanced nicely. Like, you couldn't just throw a grenade across an entire map without any issues. You had to be a little bit more accurate with. But I know a lot of people were kind of upset with the grenade throwing distances, and to be honest, I don't think I threw any grenades while moving backwards, so I didn't really see this issue occurring. But it is nice that they've recognized this and made some changes to it. So the next change was made to the concussion grenades. And basically my complaint with this is the effect simply lasted way too long. I don't mind that they're powerful, but the fact that I'm sitting there stunned for like 9 seconds is just ridiculous. So they've actually reduced this by 1 second, and they're also unlocking Tactical Mask earlier. So now you're going to unlock Tactical Mask at level 13 rather than, I think it was like somewhere in the level 20s, somewhere around there. I think it was like 22, 23, something like that. I could be way off on that. But now you unlock it earlier, so I think this is a good thing overall. And I'm glad they made a little bit of a change without making these non-lethals basically useless. Moving on to the next change, they finally added a time on kill stat on the scoreboard during hardpoint games. This is something people have been asking for a really long time, so you can actually see who is sitting on that hardpoint and scoring the points for your team, because a lot of people would just sort of juggle the hardpoint. Like, they'll jump on, they'll get points, then they'll just jump off the hardpoint waiting for an enemy to jump on, so then they can kill the enemy, jump on for more points, and basically repeat. Now, I don't think this is necessarily going to stop that playstyle, but at least it's going to show the people that are actually dedicating themselves to sitting on the hardpoint and scoring points. So I'm really excited that this is going to make a return, even though I'm not a huge hardpoint player myself. It is nice to give recognition to the people that are actually sitting on that hardpoint. The next change was made to the Safeguard game mode, and this is something that I actually recommended, or very similar to what I recommended. Now when you're escorting the robot in Safeguard, you will get 25 score for every 3 seconds that you're escorting the robot. You have to be actually the one in that area escorting the robot. It looks like it's going to reward everyone on the team that is near the robot with those points, whereas my system was basically just reward the first guy on the robot, like escorting the robot, for every time it moved, because you only really need one person escorting the robot. It doesn't make it go any faster having a whole team on there. But in either case, it's really nice to see they're going to be rewarding points for people that are actively trying to play the objective in Safeguard. Moving on to the next change, this is something that a lot of people were asking for. I don't think I ever really mentioned it, but it's something that's nice to see. They've changed the kill cam now so that you can see what your enemy was using, so you can see their weapon, their score streak, their specialist weapon, their equipment. You can see basically everything your enemy was using when they kill you, so maybe you can adjust your playstyle accordingly, or you can pick up tips from people that are obviously better than you and just destroying you. You can kind of pick up some class setup tips from them. And this is something that's really nice to see. We've seen this in past Call of Duty games, and then for whatever reason we didn't have it in the beta, but now we do, so this is a nice little addition that they've made. Alright, so the final change that they listed in this article is various weapon balancing changes, including the Razorback and the M8A7. Now I know they did kind of patch the Razorback about halfway through the beta. I believe it was about halfway through. They nerfed it a little bit, but I still found it to be very, very versatile. I guess there's nothing wrong with a versatile gun, but it just seemed to outshine a lot of the assault rifles at longer ranges or medium to long ranges. And I feel like it was still a little bit on the powerful side. So I do like that they've made some more changes to it. I don't know what those changes are. I hope they didn't nerf it into oblivion. I doubt they did though. I hope it's still going to be a very good and useful gun. And also the M8A7. This is one that I definitely agree with. It was my favorite gun by the end of the beta, and it felt like nothing could really effectively challenge me at long range when I was using the M8A7. Like, snipers didn't stand a chance, LMGs didn't stand a chance. If I had the M8A7 and it was a longer range gunfight, I was going to win that gunfight every time, unless the other guy had an M8A7 as well. So I'm glad they made some changes to that. I hope it's still a good gun. Same with the Razorback. Hope it's still good and viable. But I hope it's also just a little bit more difficult to use. So those are the 10 changes that Treyarch at least released to us. They probably made some other changes behind the scenes. I'm sure there's a lot of other stuff that has changed that's really minor, but these are the things that the community was really asking for. And I'm really excited that they've made all these changes and actually learned a bunch of lessons from the beta, because without the beta, these sorts of changes, probably we wouldn't have seen them until like December or even January. So it's awesome now to have that beta and see these changes implemented before the game even launches. This is getting me a whole lot more excited for launch. So I want to know, what do you guys think in the comment section below? Do you think they changed stuff that wasn't necessary, or are you really happy that they changed things that you wanted to be changed? Or do you feel there's some things that they should have changed that they didn't in this list? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.